Cybela, hey, welcome to CinemaCon. I mean, how does it feel for being here today?
Oh, it's great. I love it. Nevada, it's a whole different feeling than from New York right now in the winter. It's nice. It's nice, very nice. I like it.
Now, you are here for a purpose because, CinemaCon is a convention of worldwide theater owners, and you are here for a specific reason. Can you tell us about it?
Well, I know it's maybe a bit revolutionary for a filmmaker to come here, but I just want to give my movies directly to the theaters. I want to give them an opportunity to see my trailers. If they want a screener, they can have a screener. I have these new movies coming up, and right now I have movies in 44 networks around the world. They're in 183 countries right now, and I have a lot of fans, but I have no promotion really for my movies yet, and I'm just lucky that they like my movies. So right now I wanted to go straight to the theaters and try that avenue instead of just going through streaming.
So you're attempting to basically navigate the halls and the convention floors to meet up with private theater owners.
That's right. I'm hoping to meet the exhibitors, yeah, instead of going through a third party, which I find very complicated.
Well spoken. Now, because of this, you are presenting some of your personal film projects. Can you tell us about some of them?
Yes. I have basically two brand new projects that I just finished shooting and editing. One, and it's a part of a trilogy. I've written a trilogy. It's called the Déjà Vu trilogy. Déjà Vu, The Peril of Pauline. Déjà Vu, The Conundrum of Cassie. And Déjà Vu, The Eye of Lulu. Now, the first two I've shot and are ready to go. The third I will shoot in this coming summer. The first one, Déjà Vu, The Peril of Pauline, is about a French scientist, Pauline Joubert, who is trying to expose the use of Tesla technology, Nikola Tesla, the inventor, and his technology of low-frequency radio waves, which create earthquakes, and they're not natural earthquakes. So a country can do this to another country, and then what happens is they never retaliate because they think it's a natural phenomenon that's destroyed their country. So basically, she wants to stop this because it hurts the environment when you put low-frequency radio waves and animals fly the wrong direction, birds fly into walls, and it's really difficult for the fauna and flora on this planet if you use that warfare. So basically, she's trying to reveal this and expose it, and she's about to write it in her journal, and she gets assassinated by a government hitman who has become her lover and her boyfriend on purpose so that he can do that. The day that she's murdered, the next morning, someone else is born, and it's her reincarnation. And that person is Cassie Cole, who talks like this. This is a girl named Cassie Cole from the South, and she doesn't talk anything like Pauline, which is a very serious French woman. So it's a completely different characters. Pauline is brunette and very different looking, and Cassie looks like this. Like, see, I tried to wear her boots today. I don't know if you can see that, but she's really a hillbilly redneck and wants to be. She's a Dolly Parton wannabe. So the first movie is about how Cassie actually solves the murder of Pauline 37 years later, because when she's born, she ends up having all these dream. She suddenly will go into this trance, like if somebody touches her on her shoulder where the man had murdered her with the horse tranquilizer in Central Park. The second that happens to her, she thinks she's Pauline, and she becomes Pauline, and she starts ranting in French. And this southern hillbilly girl doesn't know French at all. So she goes to a psychiatrist, he figures it all out, and she ends up meeting the son, who's a very good-looking guy, and she ends up becoming friends with the son of the woman she's reincarnated with. It's very interesting. And they end up, realizing what happened, and she ends up solving the murder of his mother. And she's actually the reincarnation of the mother. It's really interesting. Then the next movie is about Cassie, and it's totally about Cassie. And Cassie wants to be Dolly Parton. She's writing songs, but she can't sing, but she's trying. And she writes a song, Castles in the Rain. It's all about unrequited love, and she writes this, and she's trying to sing it. But the day after we see her, the first scene, she's singing it with a really funny dog on her lap, and she's singing it to the singing teacher while he's playing the piano. And then what happens is, the next day when she goes back, she finds his dead body full of blood. He's completely been murdered. And she's can't figure out what happened, and she's freaking out, and she calls a detective, and he comes over, and the detective is a cynical guy. He doesn't believe a word she says because she's so nutty. And in the end, it turns out she ends up in the middle of a lot of different murders because the Russians who killed the singing teacher, and I won't do too much spoiler alert here, but anyway, they had a really exotic reason for killing the singing teacher, okay? And then they kidnap her bird because they want to get leverage on her so that she'll give up the thing she finds that they wanted to kill him for, that they ended up not, yeah. So there's this secret thing, which again, I don't want to say too much, but she finds it, she discovers it in the singing teacher's place, and she goes back to get her sheet music after he's dead, because she doesn't want it to go into witness protection or anything. And so she goes back to get it, and then she finds this thing that they killed him for, which they'd never found. And so then they're after her, and all these murders are happening, by the way. And there's a wheelchair stalker, a guy in her neighborhood, based on a real wheelchair stalker in my neighborhood, and that's what made me write it. Oh. Yeah, and but mine isn't a serial killer, but I made him into one. And so he's killed a lot of people. And she's in the middle of all this stuff. And she keeps telling the detective, well, I don't know why they're trying to kill me. And so meanwhile, people are at her door trying to kill her because she has this box that she found, the secret thing, which was the cause of the other murder. And that was the Russians. And then there's this wheelchair. So all these murders, and she's in the middle of all of it. And it's it's really, really funny because nobody believes. In the end, he's going to really fall in love with her because she's so kooky and crazy. But in the end, it turns out everything she said was true. And so that's what the movie is. It's the Conundrum of Cassie, because she's also psychic. And she has all these dreams. Blood pouring out of the piano, a headless piano player, UFOs hitting her in the head. I mean, all these things that are in the movie, too. And she has these dreams, and the next day she's at the shrink's office like, I don't understand why I have these nightmares. And then the next day she finds a person dead, bloody. So it's with the same dog licking the blood all over. So it's a really crazy movie, very, very funny.
And that's just the first two movies.
That's just the first two. The third one's about AI, and Lulu is a feminine voice of AI, and she's really sexy, but you never see her in the whole movie, and that's another really funny one. So I have a lot of bad Russians in my movie, by the way. I have a lot of funny Russians. Great actors. I have 32 actors in the movie, The Conundrum of Cassie. 32 actors, the most incredible actors you can ever meet. I'm really lucky. They're hilarious, and I've got actors from all over the world in my movies that are really good.
Now, did you say that two of the films are already completed?
They're ready to go right now.
All three films?
No, the third one, the Eye of Lulu, I'm shooting this summer.
Oh, okay.
I've already got a cast and everything. All the actors are ready to go. We're all just ready to go.
So what sparked you to do this very ambitious trilogy?
Oh, let me tell you. Well, because first of all, I used to, a friend of mine had passed away who was in my first movie, Bird's Eye View, and I did a tribute to him, and I redid the movie in 2020, Bird's Eye View, and it was in honor of him. And then he was also playing, he was in my movie Animal Magnetism. Did I tell you about that? Which is about elephants and rescues all over the world. And so when I started reading a book about past life regressions of children remembering who they were in past lives, and about life after death and all this stuff, which I had never really believed in. But then I started reading, and I realized these little 5-year-old kids or 3-year-old, 4-year-old kids, there's no way they could remember a living room in Dublin, Ireland, and what it looked like and everything from their past family if it weren't true. And so this professor in Virginia, he studied all these people, these little children and their families, and he went to these places that children talked about, and those places really existed. So it's like they must have had past lives. So I started to really believe in reincarnation, which a lot of people in India and a lot of places do believe in. And so I started to think about, because my friend had passed away, and I started thinking about reincarnation. Maybe there is some other way that somebody, and so I started to write this story. It just came to me, like in the middle of the night. Everything comes to me like 4 in the morning. And I just got up and I started writing it. It just came to me. And then I was also concerned about this earthquake warfare that I had studied as a student from Nikola Tesla, the scientist. And I tried to make a movie about it, and they actually stopped me from making that movie. Evidently, it was secret stuff, which I didn't know. That was when I was a kid. So this is years later, and I figure now it's been out, and now it turns out people do know about it because I've seen it on the internet. So it's not, classified anymore. But the average person doesn't know about it. But anyway, so I put it in this movie just to be able to do it, because I've always been wanting to write about that. And so that thing about the earthquake warfare that Pauline is trying to get out. So she's a whistleblower and she's murdered for it. And then I took a lot of elements like Dorothy Kilgallen, when Kennedy was assassinated, this journalist, she was trying to write about it, and the government hired a hitman who became her lover, and he murdered her, and they found her in bed reading like dead, but he had murdered her. So all these different things I know about from my whole life, from every conspiracy, I put into this movie. And so that's why it's got some comical aspects, and it's also got some real, true aspects in it. And I just kind of like the karma and the revenge, because basically the fact that her reincarnated self, who's this southern hillbilly, seemingly ignorant girl, actually has solved the murder of that woman 37 years later. And I don't want to do a spoiler, but actually there is revenge against the guy accidentally, inadvertently, against the murderer years later when he's older. So it's been really an interesting story. It's really, the whole thing, and that she's still alive, and there's music, and there's a song at the end that she's singing like a French chanteuse, and you hear her over the thing talking about life after, that she's still there, and you're going to come again to me, and all this to her son. She's singing to her son in the last scene, and it's really romantic and beautiful. So. Wow.
Now, of course, you're a writer, director, and actor. Can you talk about?
And I write the music. I write.
And you did the music too.
Only the title song at the end called "They Say That Nothing Dies." And I do it with the French accent like a French chanteuse, and it's coming from the dead, it's coming from the dead woman it's very eerie and haunting. But then the next movie, Castles in the Rain, which is kind of a country western song, which I wrote and also is the title song of that. So I didn't do the rest of the music on the movie at all, but just those title songs, yeah.
Well, can you tell us about the decision, wearing so many different hats on the same project for yourself?
Well, I just can't help it. It's like, I think, I met Lelouch when I was a student, and he liked me. We became really good friends, Claude Lelouch, and he had won the Oscar. This was years ago. He had won the Oscar for Man and a Woman in France, and he told me a lot about the auteur method. And he said, in Europe, one person does, we do it all. Like, I'm the writer, I'm the director, I do it. And I listened to him, and then I thought about Woody Allen, and I liked his movies. And I said, why can't I do it all? Because I'm very creative, and I'm always thinking of stories, and I'm thinking of songs, and I'm thinking of characters. And I just write all these characters. It just comes to me, like, I don't know how it does come to me. And then all these people that I meet, then I interview all these actors, and I find incredible actors. I'm really lucky with that. And they end up making the characters so much better than what I wrote. And they really bring everything to life, the actors in my movies. And the characters, I laugh my ass off, when I watch the stuff. I do. I'm watching these people, and I go, that's much funnier than what I wrote. And some of them add stuff, too. They add their own little thing, and I go, that's fantastic. So you have to be very open to other people's creativity in your projects as well, I think.
What is your personal love for making independent cinema like this?
Well, I'll be really honest. I'm not into the corporate bureaucracy, and I find that it's kind of like not fair to people to let them be as creative as they want, to give everyone their independence, to let people do their contribution. Uh-oh.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. So for me, the studios, the system, I don't want to put anything, but I don't know if I could work in that system that easily, because if someone else were telling me what to do and I couldn't put my own creativity on it, then I would feel very stifled. And that's why as a director, when somebody contributes something, I love it. I always listen to them, and I'm always appreciative. And I always try to incorporate other people's ideas. If they're an actor, I try to let them really blossom. And that's really been good for me, because they've contributed so much more than what I can even imagine in my projects as my characters. They add so much.
So being here at CinemaCon, what kind of partnership are you looking for? Are you looking for any type of theaters, or are you looking for like art house theaters? I'm
actually looking for any theater that would be open to my projects, because some people like this kind of comedy. Some people may want more straight, very straight kind of, and a lot of people may want that regurgitated stuff that you see in Hollywood, where everything's again and again and again the same damn thing. That to me is boring. It's like the same thing again and again, regurgitated, redux, redo. And so for me, my stuff is very new, very unusual. It's totally unique. No one's ever seen anything like what I have. And even people who are friends that are gurus of mine, people that are very successful in business that I might show, they always say, there's nothing like this. There's just nothing like it. It's so, fresh. And that's what I really am trying to offer. I think I can offer something that the studio system doesn't offer, because it's not only that, you're not using the same people again and again as different characters. I have all these new incredible people. So I'm offering a whole new roster of creative artists, as well as stories that have never been done before. And you know, in Pauline, there's really kind of a message. Then the next one is straight comedy. I mean, the second movie is just really, really funny characters and really funny. But I bring things in, like political things, that you can see all the kind of nuances of what I see in my life and what I observe. And all that comes out of my movies. That's why I think it's fresh, and I think people like them. I think it's for the average people. And even like my evergreen movie, Animal Magnetism, which is about animal rescues and about, you know, about love of animals around the world and all these animals that are being abused in factory farms and all these things. For me, that's really important in my life, to try to get a message out to people about that, and how you have to be very cognizant of what's going on with animals around the world, and you have to do your best to protect them and try to make life happy for them. So that movie is just, it goes all around the world. Thailand, Africa, Washington State, where there's this eagle that saved a guy from cancer, literally. I mean, that became tame. I mean, all these animals are so soulful. They have a soul, and people don't even realize. And talking about that, I just want to add that in my movie, The Peril of Pauline, you'll see that the parrot that the girl has, that Cassie has, the character who's reincarnated from Pauline, she has this parrot she sleeps in bed with every night. And that parrot, who's a big actor in my movies, she's a real diva, by the way, and her name is Baby Rainbow. That bird, in the last shot of the movie, you'll see a secret little thing that some people get it, some people don't. When they get it, they literally scream when they're watching it. That bird is actually, you're going to see that she's going to be reincarnated as another bird, and that animals also can have a reincarnation, which is kind of way out there. And I show that in my movie in a kind of interesting way. And so I had people that wrote books about it who actually donated their books that I could put in the final scene. So you'll see it. I don't want to spoil the whole movie, but it really is about life repeating and coming back and almost eternal life of everything on the universe. That's what it's really about. That's what.
Well, you're very unique and full of ideas. So if any distributor wants to reach out to you, how do they reach out to you?
Well, may I give you my? Yeah, so my email is CybelaClare.com, and it looks like Cybela Clare, and there's only one L. I'm going to spell it: C like cat, Y B E L A. There's only one L, and then it's Cybela.Clare. There's no I. C-L-A-R-E. C-L-A-R-E. So it's Cybela.Clare@gmail.com.
Well said. Well, hey, congratulations.
Oh, and one more thing.
Oh, yeah, go
and
for it.
I have a website, CybelaClare.com. Again, it looks like Cybela Clare, one L, CybelaClare.com. There's a website which has all my new projects coming out. And if you scroll down to the bottom of my website, and if you forget Cybela.Clare@gmail, you go down the bottom of my website, it says submit any message. That will go straight to my personal email, which is CybelaClare.com.
Well said.
Cybela.Clare, I mean. Cybela.Clare@gmail. Yeah, it goes straight there from the website. If people watch the website, CybelaClare.com, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you can see every trailer of every one of my movies. And I have like 18 of them. So you can see all the trailers, and at the bottom you can send me a message.
Well said, and hey, congratulations for your film, and let's have a great CinemaCon and reach out and network as many people as we can, shall we?
Thank you so much. It's been so nice to meet you. It's really, really wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.